The fact that both of my parents were immigrants from El Salvador made it really hard for them to get an actual job. So my dad was the type of man that had to wake up at 6 in the morning and stand in front of Home Depot and try to get a job in order to make some earnings for the rest of our family. And my mom was the type of woman who stayed at home and took care of me and my three sisters and took us to school and made sure that we focused on our education and try to achieve something better for ourselves. My mother would always tell me that just because she couldn't be something, that shouldn't limit us as her children. She told us that we could do anything in the world. So my mom would tell me every day that I was going to be a princess. As time went by and as me and my sisters got older, unfortunately my parents started to have a little bit of trouble. You can see that their love was going away. Unfortunately, my mom passed away and my dad went to prison, which led me and my three siblings to end up in the foster care system. One of them was separated from us, my sister Sarah, because she was autistic. Luckily though, I had the opportunity to stay with my other two sisters, Genesis and Alma. And the hard part though was not only not having Sarah though with us, but moving to a different home, a home where I knew nothing of these individuals, a new geographical area. Moving from like Inglewood to East LA was definitely very hard because it was still kind of like the hood, but it was a different type of hood. It was just really hard getting accustomed to a neighborhood that was very Mexican when I'm Salvadorian, but everyone believes that all Latinos in California are Mexican. So yeah, I felt like a minority within a minority. Being in the foster care system was definitely very hard, and now it's become a blessing because it's helped me grow into the individual that I am. But the lack of emotional support was definitely the hardest part of being in the system. Feeling that you had foster parents, but that didn't really love you was really hard because there were times where I doubted whether love actually existed besides my two sisters who at times I felt like they had to love me because they were part of my own blood. But luckily then I moved into my second home, and in my second home I finally had the opportunity, and I was blessed with my foster mom who I really love, and now she's my mom. And she told me that if I focused on my education, I could be anything that I wanted. So every day while being in her care as a foster child, I did my best to focus on my education and not focus on the bad things, not that I didn't have my parents or that I was a foster child. Sometimes I feel like just being in foster care was like one full chapter where my whole goal was just to get to college. And it wasn't until college that I feel like I fully got to discover who I am and what my passions truly are. Here in college, I finally had the opportunity to see and realize that I'm actually interested in being part of foster children's lives. And it has become something, it's become part of me, which I really love though, because I think foster children should never be viewed as negative children or children that have bad pasts, because sometimes it's not your fault. Your parents sometimes make mistakes because at the end of the day, not everybody's perfect. Your outcome depends on you, not your parents or your friends, but on you. It's what you want and what do you want to do with your life. But luckily in college, I was able to discover that I want to be a lawyer. I like being part of a sorority. My sorority was actually the reason that I feel like I'm more Latina than I was before. I didn't even know my own culture because I grew up with a whole bunch of Mexicans. Being in a Latina sorority, I was able to discover my roots and discover that I love doing community service and that I'm capable of being a leader and taking my future wherever I want.